Well, I think we'll get started. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā koutou katoa. Nau mai, haere mai ki te hui o te whānau vegan o Ōtautahi. He mihi nui ki a koutou i tēnei pō. Welcome to our annual World Vegan Day dinner, which has been organised tonight by the Christchurch Vegetarian Centre. And welcome to my annual World Vegan Day speech. It's a bit like the Queen's speech, but it's not an anus horribilis thing for me. It's going to be a good year for us. Look, I'll just check the sound. Is that okay with everyone? I just might just put this here because I think that's rolling. Thank you. There we go. Well, let's just talk first about what is a vegan. As you know, a vegan is somebody who knowingly chooses not to consume, use or wear any products produced by animals or containing animal byproducts and avoids products tested on animals. So vegans, we don't eat meat, we don't eat fish, livestock, poultry, eggs, dairy products, honey, gelatin. We don't usually wear leather, fur, silk, oil, cosmetics or soaps from animal products. So that's the definition of what a vegan is, but a vegan is obviously so much more than a definition. The acceptance and the option for vegans have changed really drastically over the past few years. When I became a vegan back in 1989, we didn't actually have liquid soy milk, can you believe it? We used to mix soy milk with powder into water and make ourselves drink it. Margarine had only just become legalised, and in fact the first vegan margarine that I remember was called Slimarine. It says quite a lot. And actually no one even had any idea what the word vegan meant. We didn't even know how to say it. For years I called myself a vegan, like I was from planet Vega, or I was a fan of Suzanne Vega. I didn't actually know how to say vegan, so we didn't really know. Anyway, things got better. Soy milk became available and a whole lot of plant milks became available. And actually year by year we've seen introduction of new food items and what easy availability, things like tofu for example, which wasn't easy to get in those days. And then vegan meat became a thing. I remember when I first heard about that, I was like, vegans can have meat, yay, because I love my meat. And it wasn't easy to find at first, but you know, almost every supermarket in New Zealand now has vegan sausages and pies and so on. Sun-fed chicken, you know that new vegan chicken that's been launched this year, that's a New Zealand product. They took it to the streets on TV, where confirmed meat eaters found they could not tell the difference between it and the dead chicken. So that was pretty amazing. I've had to wait decades, but finally there's vegan cheese. At last, and it's not just one brand, there's actually many brands of vegan cheese, and you can find them in mainstream supermarkets. And now there's this thing called nut cheese. Have you tried that? Because that is just awesome. Then some really clever vegan discovered aquafaba 2 years ago. So you know that's the juice from chickpeas, and you can whip it up and it's like egg white. You can have like meringues, and last year I gave my kids pavlova for one of the first times. You know, vegans have actually wet their pants about aquafaba. It's just been huge on Facebook. Thank you, Alison. Now, all of these changes actually have taken a lot of stress off vegans, taken a lot of stress off me. I've stopped now being really creepy at supermarkets. Like in the past, if I saw somebody pick up a packet of tofu, I would think, oh my God, that could be another vegan. And then I'd kind of stalk them around the supermarket because I thought maybe they were like one of my people. And now like there's so many people picking up tofu in the supermarket. And another stress that was when a new vegan product came out, I used to feel like personally responsible that I had to go and buy it to support it. And I would be going around like spending all this money, eating all this vegan food, thinking, well if I don't, the company will collapse, and then where are we going to get vegan food from? It was really exhausting actually and quite expensive running around town supporting these products. And if I saw, say, a new vegan ice cream, I'd be like, I don't care if I put on weight, I need to support it. I had to go and eat large amounts of it. You know, pandas are proof that you can be vegan and still get fat, really. And I've learned that the hard way. Although to be fair, it's easier for non-vegans to put on weight. And then, you know, there was that guilt feeling. If a vegan product was launched and it didn't take off, I felt that was my fault. Like, I still feel responsible for Griffin's ginger nuts if they stop being vegan. I just felt I hadn't eaten enough. So there's highs and lows, as many vegans know, like being vegan in a restaurant, the absolute joy and happiness when the waiter tells you, yes, they can make something vegan in the kitchen. You didn't care what it was, you're just like, thank you so much for letting me sit in your restaurant and pay a lot of money for a green salad. That's so good of you. And that led to the rise of what I call the grateful vegan. So the grateful vegan was like, thank you for letting me come to your restaurant, spend the same amount of money as everyone else for a dish where you've taken everything good out and just left me with what was vegan that was left. We would think this was a really good thing. And then there would be the lows when they tell you, no, you actually can't have anything vegan in our restaurant and get out. Actually, this happened to me in the 1980s. I got run out of Gore. I went into a fish and chip shop in Gore. This is true. And I asked, do you cook your chips in plant fat or animal fat? And they looked at me and they said, are you from Gore? I went, no. They said, get out. So me and my friend had to leave. So we didn't even get any chips either. So anyway, vegans don't put up with that kind of crap anymore. We have the vegan dollar and restaurants want it. So many places cater for us now, and you may not know the CVC, the Christchurch Vegetarian Centre, is about to launch the V sticker campaign. It's a sticker that says vegan food sold here, and that's being launched before Christmas. And so you'll go to restaurants, and if you see that sticker on the window, you know that we've made ourselves go and eat everything to check it out for your sakes. So you can support that campaign too. Because that is really good, because you know what happens when restaurants don't cater for vegans? You get the risk of creating what I call the vangry vegan. That's a vegan who's angry. So that means she's vangry. She's an angry vegan. So in 2017, you know, if a chef can't actually prepare a vegan dish, wouldn't you be vangry? I would be. In fact, last year I went to House Pizza in Bishopdale, and they gave me a vegan pizza that had hardly anything on, and I said, I'm vangry. And I don't think that guy is ever going to cross a vegan customer again after I had finished. Because, you know, I was vangry, and you know what it's like. Now there's a lot of vegans around, like all of you guys here. I can actually relax a little, because other vegans are creating a demand. It's not just me now. And I can share that responsibility. So I just want to say thanks, because I've lost weight, I've saved a lot of money, so thank you to all the other vegans for eating all the food. It's not just my job anymore. Yay. Now last year, you know, I give this World Vegan Day speech every year, and we were just trying to work out today how many times we've been at the Lotus Heart. It's been about, I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years. We've come here, eaten all their food and left, and we do it to celebrate World Vegan Day. And last year, when I gave my World Vegan Day speech, I was talking about vegan bullying, because this time last year we were seeing a lot of vegan bullying online, of non-vegans bullying us for being vegan, and a lot of bashing, particularly on something called Talkback. If you ever listened to that as a vegan, it was pretty depressing. And that was really weird for me as a long-term vegan, because the first 20 years I was vegan, you never heard the word vegan spoken anywhere, not in the media, not in the press or anything. And then it's like the word vegan came out, and suddenly it was all this really negative and really we were bashed for it. We got on the radar of a lot of people. It turns out quite a lot of non-vegans are quite sensitive, who knew? And they were very upset about us being vegan, and they were found us quite confronting, and they thought we were trying to sabotage the poor farmers who love their cows, and that we were trying to bring down the economy, and that we were just not right-thinking Kiwis. Anyway, our very existence was a challenge to them. But you know, I think this year, I don't think I would talk so much about vegan bashing, because I think there's been a definite shift in how we as vegans are portrayed in the media. This year we had our very first titled Vegan Expo. We had unprecedented numbers attend. I'm sorry if you were queuing for 45 minutes to get in, because it was just absolutely packed. And TV news covered it. You know, we've tried to get the news there every expo for 10 years, and I came to the one that was called Vegan. And I really braced myself when I watched the news that night for the negative report. But they showed it really positively. Did anyone see that campaign? Yeah. And they showed it really positively. And they showed us also as a very diverse community. And they also showed that we were vegan for good reasons. On World Vegan Day this week, on 7 Sharp, there was a news report about the Tart Vegan Bakery in Auckland. And again, it was really positive and not treated in a fringe way. It's just like Mahatma Gandhi said, you know, first they ignore you, and then they laugh at you, and then they fight you, and then you just win. So hopefully we're almost there. And you know, I think there's never been a better time to be vegan, and you know what? You know it's just going to get better, don't you? It's just going to get better and better to be vegan. A vegan is someone who looks at what is happening in the world with eyes wide open. A vegan is someone who lets himself seize the barbaric practices of the meat and dairy industry to realise absolutely, as Jane Goodall said, that we are not the only beings on this planet with personalities, minds and feelings. As John Sankar said, to get mud off your hands, you use soap and water. To get blood off your hands, go vegan. A vegan is also somebody who sees the cancer we're giving the earth. It's not global warming, it's actually global cancer. We're killing the earth with greenhouse gases from the animal farming industries and destroying the oceans with overfishing and our waste. And a vegan is also someone who lets themselves seize the diseases that are killing us. The cancers, the diabetes, the obesity, the heart disease, the dementia, and many others. These are sometimes caused, if not made worse, by the consumption of meat, dairy, and other animal products. Meat causes all kinds of diseases, but name one disease caused by veganism. And as Professor Gary Fraser said, he came to Christchurch 2 weeks ago and spoke to the Vegetarian Centre. He said, we kill the animals, and then they kill us, basically. So a vegan is like a lot more than a plant-eating person. It's much more than a diet. It is a way of seeing the world with eyes wide open. However, one thing did recently make me wonder if I have done the right thing by going vegan, because I was watching Mike Hoskin on 7 Sharp, and he said, quote, "It is a fascinating time to give plant-based diets a try." And I had to question, if Mike Hoskin thinks I'm doing the right thing, am I really? Because that just felt, I thought, I'm on the right side. It just seems, but apart from that, I think we are. The other good thing about going vegan is the food. Am I right? Don't get the food is one of the best things about going vegan. I think the animal rights movement is the biggest social justice movement since slavery was abolished, but it's actually the only social justice movement I know of where the emphasis is also on the food. And just the act of creating and eating vegan food is political. 3 times a day, you actually reinforce what you believe by the beautiful food that we eat. And I don't know about you, but I eat far better as a vegan than I ever did as a non-vegan. And there's nothing that a non-vegan can eat that we can't have. We can have everything now. Who knows what vegans are going to discover next in terms of food? All over the world, clever vegans are coming up with new ways to replace the bad ways. The other good thing about being a vegan is not just the food, it's also that you're in a community of vegans, a community of people who knows what it's like to have their eyes wide open, who have gone down the same path as you and knows the strength and character that it takes to go against the norm. And who, like you, once you know something, you can't unknow it. The cat is out of the, that's not very vegan. The genie is out of the bottle, that's okay then. Because once you know it, you can't not know. So a community of vegans such as we have here tonight. Because when we are with other vegans, we can be more truly ourselves. We don't have to justify or explain who we are and where we get our protein from, or give an answer to that really, that big question that a lot of non-vegans worry about on our behalf. What would we do if we were stranded on a desert island and there was a cow, and would we eat it? I mean, they share that load of worrying about that. And I do think that our community, our precious vegan community, is what helps people go vegan and stay vegan. Well, you probably know World Vegan Day was on November the 1st. It's an international focal point for celebrating veganism. Now, Donald Watson coined the word vegan and founded the Vegan Society in November 1944. And how the word came up is they looked at the word vegetarian, and they took the first 3 letters of vegetarian, and the last 2 letters of vegetarian, and came up with vegan. And what they said is that the word vegan is the beginning and end of vegetarian. So that's how we get the word vegan. And people felt that the establishment of the Vegan Society was worth celebrating, and so that's why we've been celebrating World Vegan Day. And this month is World Vegan Month. And all around the world, people, vegans and non-vegans and friends, will be celebrating World Vegan Month. I'm going to the Whangarei Vegan Expo in 2 weeks, and there's potlucks and dinners held all over New Zealand tonight. Next month in Auckland, there's the Vegan Ball, and if you're worried about missing out, Cinderella, don't worry, because it looks like we're going to have a Vegan Ball in Christchurch in March. So yes, we get to go to that. So this is our World Vegan Day is our day. Now last month, the Christchurch Vegetarian Centre brought you the Vegan Expo, which is New Zealand's longest running vegan event. And the Christchurch Vegetarian Centre is actually New Zealand's biggest and most successful vegan community organisation, which exists to support everybody in the path to vegan, whether they be omnis or vegetarians or vegans. We give talks in schools, we talk to medical students, we run a youth group, dining groups, we've got Team Vegan, we've got stalls, we brought you vegan triathlons, we have vegan camp. And we actually advocate a lot for people very quietly behind the scenes, people in rest homes who've advocated for vegans in jail, just very quietly trying to make sure they're getting what they need. We're looking at setting up a vegan angel service to help vegetarians and vegans who might need a home-cooked meal delivered to them for whatever reason. And we do all of this on a sniff of a coconut oily rag. And so now we get to the part where I ask you to actively support our work, because you're probably thinking, well, how can I support this amazing organisation? Look, I've got some ideas. First of all, obviously, we need money. We unlike anyone who stands in front of you and tries to get you to eat meat, they're being paid by the meat board, and it's economic. When anyone stands in front of you and talks about promoting vegan community, it's because we do it from our hearts, because we think it's best for animals and the planet. So later on, Graham, my lovely assistant, is going to go around and try and flog some raffle tickets. They're only $1 each, and the prize is a trip to the Milford Sounds, and there's 25 other great prizes. They're only $1. And we're also flogging vegan soaps and chocolate, because you might be peckish on the way home. Did you know that vegans have to eat 20% more food than non-vegans to stay upright? I mean, that's another good reason to be vegan, don't you think? So you might need to get something like that. So he's going to go around and do that. Another thing you can do to support our work, if you haven't already, is join the Vegetarian Society or the Vegan Society. Both organisations obviously support veganism. And if you join the Vegetarian Society tonight, you get a free gift bag full of vegan goodies. And you just see Mel beside me to join if you would like to. Because, you know, you're probably thinking, well, why should I join the Vegan Society? Why should I join the Vegetarian Society? I don't need that support. Well, the thing is, you may not personally need that support, but what about joining so that there actually is a vegan society and a vegetarian society so that we can help others? Because, you know, people don't join these organisations, can't exist. The other thing you can do is volunteer. So if you've never thought about volunteer, you know, we always need help at our expos and events, and we're recruiting right now for committee members, so come and see me or Mel as well. Come and build your community. So I know you want dessert, so I'm just going to tie up now by reminding everyone about our vegan community. It's full of people, everyone from babies to the elderly, and everyone in between. I'm proud to have been vegan for over 28 years. I've raised my 4 children as vegan, and I'm really proud to be part of this wonderful vegan community in Christchurch and to celebrate World Vegan Day with you tonight. Thank you to everyone who's organised tonight's dinner, and to our lovely friends at the Lotus Heart. Can we give them a round of applause for doing that? And I just ask everyone to raise their glasses to World Vegan Day, or your imaginary glasses, that's going to take it away. So everyone, let's do to World Vegan Day, everyone. World Vegan Day, here we go. Nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā koutou katoa. Thank you, everybody.